All right, legends, how is everybody doing? Make sure to destroy the like button on your way in. We got a good one for you today. As always, we do have some possible setups, some possible scenarios. Is Bitcoin bullish? Are we holding very, very nicely here? And we're going to shoot up in the next coming hours, go to $86,000, $87,000, or are we just going to roll over inside of this area and come and test $83,000 and maybe break it, maybe hold it? There's a few scenarios that I want to talk about today, guys, so make sure to stay tuned. As you do, smash up that like button on your way in, guys. Absolutely destroy it. You know that gives me energy. We look for the internal setups for the price of Bitcoin, and we do our best, right? We try to do our best here to try and find some setups, right? Let's go through what we mentioned yesterday, because we build up the internal price action, right? The 5-minute, 15-minute time frame, and try and develop what could happen throughout today, throughout the next coming hours. That's what we like to do, of course. Higher time frame. We can go through higher time frame later on and see different projections, right? What are the highest probability movements? Where are the most important levels of support that we need to pay attention? The most important levels of resistance. But we like to go through the lower time frame, right? Not many people like to do lower time frame. I like to do it. I like to do it with you guys. Build up a movement, a possible movement, and a strategy to get into a possible setup, right? Yesterday, as we were trading in this area, we analyzed this pump right over here, understanding that the price was very likely going to continue to the upside, because we were mapping this movement as a possible wave 3. And what we want to see is our wave 4 and then our wave 5 to create that double top scenario right over here. It is basically this right over here that we have on the chart. That was one of the setups that was mentioned on the live stream. Here you have it. This is exactly one of the scenarios that we were looking for on yesterday's stream. Of course, we had the FOMC minutes. We dropped because of the FOMC minutes, right? Well, we already knew that this was a probability, right? We knew that this was a possibility, that we are in a C wave here. And inside of this C wave, this price action should pump a little bit more. We need it to stop at some point, regardless if it's naked point of control, daily level. If we hit 85.3K, we need it to stop and form a little bit of a range here in this area, right? Basically. And then what we want to see is our last push to the upside so we can collapse down, all right? And eventually, the setup that was explained yesterday was the double top, the internal double top, once this wave 3 finishes and finds a little bit of a range. Now look how we have the golden pocket, the naked point of control, and check the drawing here on how we need to wait for this wave to stop. I don't know where the price is going to stop. What I do know that could happen next is a corrective structure internally. This is the 5-minute time frame, guys, okay? So I need your full attention. You're not going to see many people talk about this, because this is where the hard work, is in, right? We're going to build some setups right now in the stream on the 5 minutes, and it's freestyle. It's freestyle. I don't have anything on the chart, okay? I don't have anything on the chart, and we will build the movements that could happen, all right? What's happened, all right? We need to know where we're coming from, of course. We need to understand where we're coming from to try and project the next movements. I am leaning a little bit more on the bearish side. I am leaning on that we are very possibly going to come down to $83,000 and test the lows over here, possibly breaking down. I'll explain that throughout the stream. But most importantly, right, we ain't getting no stochastic RSIs and moving averages on the higher time frame, right? We're going through the meat and potatoes, the most complex way of analyzing the lower time frames and trying to project some scenarios that could happen, such as this one, right? The multiple 1-2 scenario was also there, but one of them was this one right over here. And the short position is taken on the rejection of this wave right over here. This is basically yesterday's analysis. You know, the timing is not exactly the same, but looking at the price action, when we get this out of the way, which was purely based on yesterday's analysis here, when we take that off the chart and we analyze this situation very carefully, you can see that that wave 4 was right over here. This was it. This was the moment that the price stopped and got a 3-wave structure. It got a consolidation and stopped, right? That's literally that wave 4. Of course, we cannot exactly put the projection of the drawing inside, but just as you can see here on the drawing, right? We're looking for a stop. We're looking for a little bit of a range, and then we're looking for the next leg up to get the movement to the downside, right? This is right over here what we had before the price action developed. This is literally what happened, not at the exact same levels, right? It's very hard to get the exact same dollars, but how the price action could develop, right, in this pump, understanding that this is no time to short, right? You need to understand, you know, this is not a good level to short. A good level to short would be, and this is a day trade setup, guys, okay? This is not a trade to hold on to. We go down to 70K, right? It's a day trade, come back to the lows, right? And that's where you want to take profits. As we do see that development, right? It's on the charts, right? You cannot make this up. The explanation of this for anybody that is, you know, new to the channel, and we need to talk about it, guys. We need to talk about it eventually. We're going to talk about what could be next, okay? What are the different projections? We're going to build up that setup on the lower time frame because we've been in a bit of a range, right? All of the people that are looking for swing trades are looking for Bitcoin to go to 90K, or some people for Bitcoin to go to 70K. Well, they're a bit bored right now, right? They're a bit bored. We're in a big range, right? Throughout the last few days, we're just going up and down between 80K and 86K, right? 83K and 86K. So we're going to find some, you know, different internal projections for the setups. But this explanation right over here, just for any people that, you know, to understand it, this was exactly the rejection from the FOMC minutes, right? To understand this price action, we knew that this was the low. We know that this is the high. We knew that we formed a higher low right over here, and that the price action developed here to the upside was a 1 and a flat right there. You had a third wave on the formation. That's when we were streaming. We were breaking above this high. Let the third wave develop. Let it stop at one of these levels, golden pocket, for example. It stopped exactly at the golden pocket. Form a little bit of a range, and then take out the high and form that double top and get the corrective move. If you see where the golden pocket is and where we had that naked point of control from last Tuesday's price action, naked point of control, you can see this is, you know, we actually got a little bit of a swing failure pattern from this lower high right there, right? It could have been your trigger, or the double top right there, also your trigger. But the idea, the projection of the reading of a possible setup, letting you very clear that the short setup was exactly on the rejection as you're moving down, right? Because I do get a lot of people asking me, hey, where's the long? Where's the short? Where's, right? Well, wait for, you know, we need to wait, right? As technical analysts and traders, we need to know the best scenario to get into, right? The best scenario, because I don't know what the price is going to do. Nobody knows. But we can have some projections. We can realize, you know, where we're coming from, how the price has moved, and how this could be the scenario. So overall, double top right there, nice movement down of a couple of $1,000, giving you that possible setup, right? So, okay, that's happened. that happened. We got the movement down, swept here, these higher lows, a bit of an SFP, a little bit of a range right now. What is next? What could be next, right? What could be next, as we do have on the thumbnail, right? What is next? What movements are next? Where do we have an opportunity? That's what we're going to do right now, guys. But I need that like button to get absolutely destroyed. I need a little bit of hype. I need a little bit of people excited to really analyze the internal levels, because yeah, higher time frames, we could look at some possible projections. Is it highly likely that we do this, or is it more likely that we take out the lows? You know, in my opinion, it is higher there's more probability in taking out these lows, in my opinion, where we at right now in the middle of the range, than actually shooting up from here. Of course, what is disturbing is that we do have a lot of liquidity sitting above $86,000. You know, there is a lot of liquidity. There's not that, there's less, there is liquidity below 83K. There is, but there's more to the upside. So could we get that leg down first of all and then shoot up? I mean, that would be the ideal. That would be ideal. Let's get the movement down, because there is a way of looking at this entire structure that it actually might be bullish. However, on the lower time frames, it is very disturbing, some price action that we did develop in the last 24 hours, for me to believe that we are going to be moving up from here. It's a little bit disturbing, and with the analysis that I have, I don't have a solid movement to the upside, even though on the higher time frame we do see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a bit of an ascending contracting move, the ABC flat possibility right over here, and now we should be forming some kind of 1, 2, double 1, 2, and move to the upside. However, as we do lower time frames, I have a problem with this price action. there is a problem with this price action that is telling me that there is higher probability with you know how I'm analyzing the lower time frames, that we do take out the lows instead of actually pushing to the highs. And this is where we do have a lot of liquidity. So overall, the higher time frame perspective, despite getting a movement to the downside, despite getting a possible movement to the downside, this is a very solid level. If we lose this level, I'm not interested in any quick longs or any quick shorts in this range. I think it's a dangerous area where the price could find support, get a major bounce. It could continue to the downside. I need the price to stop and form a little bit of a range so we can understand the internal market structure, right? When we get the volatility, we need to let the price go and do its thing. Just like yesterday with the analysis internally, right? we understood that if we break this high, if I break this high, I break this high. If we break this high on the price action, I understand that I'm not interested here to FOMO long or to get into a short position. I understand that very likely we are in a wave 3 here. How do I know that we are possibly in a wave 3, right? I mean, just for any, I don't know, maybe there's more people that are advanced here watching the channel, but maybe some people are relatively new, and you're here for the education to understand, when should I take action? When shouldn't I take action? What am I looking for with the price action development? And it's understanding where you're coming from, right? It is crucial on the 5-minute, 3-minute, 15-minute time frame to understand where's your last high and where's your last low, to then start a new wave structure, right? And then you build up that structure to really analyze what options do you have. And one of the options, of course, was the bearish case, get that rejection from that golden pocket, naked point of control, look for an internal double top, and understanding that this movement to the upside is possibly the development of a C wave. A, B, and C. You want 5 waves in your C wave, and then of course your 5th wave is the one that's going to create the double top to get a nice movement down. Yeah, this was the FOMC, right? This was FOMC pullback. Well, maybe it was, but overall we got to that level and we moved down based on the technicals, right? The technicals before the news hit, right? Nobody knows what's going to happen with the news. I think many people would project it's going to dump, right? That's what usually happens with the FOMC lately. And but overall we had the projection, right, of that setup. So yeah, just a little bit of a talk through, guys, looking at the lower time frames. And this is, you know, now what we're going to be trying to analyze with this local price action. But most importantly, we need to zoom out ever so slightly to see, do we have other options, right? Do we have other options? Is there a possibility of the price moving up from here to claim the highs? I mean, there is always that option, despite I don't like it too much, or there's lower probability, right? There's always the option of maybe it does claim the high. But that's why we're going to zoom in on the lower time frames here, and I'm going to give you my point of view and you know, the different projections that I do see. Whether you like them or not, you know, just it's a grain of salt. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you my opinion based on what I see on the charts. So you take that with a grain of salt, and we'll be analyzing that right away, okay, from scratch. I know it looks boring, guys. We got nothing on the chart, but that's what we like to do here, right? Build the scenarios from scratch, so you actually see the development on how we are analyzing the charts. Let's go right away through the comment section first of all, and then we'll come to the meat and potatoes, right? Then we'll go into the action to see the different possible moves, as we always do throughout the stream, right? We talk about what we mentioned yesterday. We talk about some bit of a higher time frame maybe, and then we go through lower time frame where we're looking at the action, right? We're looking at the possible internal action that could happen on the lower time frames. So let's go right away through the comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community. Bearish Andy. Yeah, I am macro bullish. It's just the probability side, okay? The probability side is telling me, based on this movement, that, yeah, you know, it would be interesting to see the development. I have a problem with this price action. You know, there is a big problem with this price action. The bullish case scenario for this to be the low and that we're going to hit this high doesn't look too great. For me, it doesn't look too great. We'll go through internally the lower time frames and just understanding that, you know, we've got some issues here with the bullish case. We've got a little bit of issues on the lower time frames that will be explained throughout the stream. So, love from India, the Lost Particle. How are you doing, my man? Much love. Nico, how are you doing? Let's go through all the comment section. We got 400 views now, 450. I think people are getting tired of crypto, getting tired of trading. Good morning, HFG. How are you doing? Always bearish analysis from Andy. No, there is bullish. There is bullish as well. A few days ago, we had a bullish setup scenario. I'm not sure if you guys remember. It's not always bearish. There is bullish as well. There was a setup here just a few days ago, which was looking for a bounce from this region to take out $86,000. You can check the stream here from Monday. This was on Monday. We're looking for a rejection at this point, a movement down, and take out the highs. So overall, it's a bullish projection, right? So we'll be going through that now in the next coming minutes, okay, on the different possibilities. Base is everyone by who's getting listed on an exchange. Okay, morning legends, you fourth dog, how are you doing? Let's go, let's go. Hello legends, Bekai. Fart coin skyrockets. Don't tell me, you know, not too focused on fart coin is up 0.8. Fart coin skyrocket, it is moving up. Fart coin, good investment by the looks of things in the last few weeks. Fart coin. Yeah, I'm not paying too much attention on some altcoins, really focusing on the Bitcoin TA and the Bitcoin trading. Running flat, says J Jack. running flat is an option. It is an option. I would assume that you are looking at this running flat, something that we mentioned yesterday. However, this price action to the upside was important. It's an important move to the upside. And, you know, I have a few issues with this movement. This movement down to be a correction is, as it's kind of news related, we need to remap this situation here, right? We need to remap this situation to see the options of the price trying to go up. We'll do that right away. We had a nice little 𝗬𝗏𝘆𝗽 pattern here today. We did have a nice little 𝗬𝗏𝘆𝗽 pattern. Anybody that's not aware of Harmonics, this could have given you a nice little scalp short position. Nice 𝗬𝗏𝘆𝗽 pattern here at the 7/8 Fibonacci, retracing to the first target zone, which is the golden pocket from the C wave to the D wave. Nice little 𝗬𝗏𝘆𝗽 pattern. Perfect move down from the 7/8 Fibonacci, from the highs of yesterday to the lows. 7/8 perfectly touched right over here from this high to the low, and retracing to the first target zone, which is the golden pocket from C to D point, right? There's some, you know, some little patterns that are interesting to see, as, you know, as we do see this internal price action from the last 24 hours. Anybody that's not aware of a 𝗬𝗏𝘆𝗽 harmonic pattern, they are very, very powerful on the chart. Let me just get here the 𝗬𝗏𝘆𝗽 pattern. It's purely based on Fibonacci, right? Where you have the movement down impulsively, you have a kind of a three-wave structure. You hit the 7/8, and then you get that nice little pullback, right? A high, a higher low, and another high. Very kind of corrective price action, and then the movement down to the golden pocket. Now the 𝗬𝗏𝘆𝗽 pattern target levels as well is the C point and the A wave. C and A wave are the target zones. There's three targets on a 𝗬𝗏𝘆𝗽. One is the golden pocket, one is the C wave, and one is the A wave low. Is it possible that we do climb to lower levels? We'll be going through the internal Elliott wave theory as well, which is going to help, you know, see what could be developing here in the next coming hours. So just a nice little internal 𝗬𝗏𝘆𝗽 pattern. Highly probable as well. When you do come down, right, kind of Elliott wave theory supports this kind of theory as well, right? Harmonic and Elliott wave theory do go hand in hand because it's all purely based on Fibonacci as well. And you get that movement down, three wave, and then a nice movement. Of course, golden pocket is always a strong level of support where you need to consider taking profit, right? If you did enter the short exactly at the 7/8 Fibonacci. Let's go right away, say hello to the community, and then we'll build up some things here that we do see on the chart, guys, as we do every single day. Every single day, right? We look for possible movements and where is the high probability setup lying, right? Which is the rejection here from this fifth wave, as explained yesterday, right? So comment section first of all, and then I think we're going to have to do a little bit of a higher time frame, guys. We're going to have to do a little bit of higher time frame just because of the development. I'm just going to give, you know, a few easy, you know, just a few quick scenarios based on this movement. We do have an ascending possible contracting move right over here, okay, with a possible ABC flat, right? Running flat if you wish, because you did not take out the low. Somebody said this in the comment section. Is it possible? Is it possible that this is a running flat and that we do get a leg here to the upside? Absolutely. I mean, possible it is. Is it highly likely? In my opinion, it is not, but there is some different possibilities. One scenario here, looking at this flat, is the retracement. It's extremely shallow. It is a shallow retracement when you take a look at this movement to the upside that we had in the last couple of weeks. This movement to the upside, when we get Fibonacci retracement and we take a look at the lows to the highs, you're literally retracing to the 236 Fibonacci, which is, we are getting supported from that 236 Fib. But it's usually a very shallow pullback. It's very, very shallow to get a successful big move to the upside. This is a very, very shallow pullback to absolutely rock it. Is it possible? Is it time for Bitcoin to really just be very bullish? Because shallow retracements happen when the price is very bullish, or it is going to get a major bullish breakout, right? And now that is the question of many right now, right? Bitcoin is, on the verge of getting a significant reversal. Taking out the low again or not, this price action is for reversing. This price action is to get a significant reversal at some point, right? And I think that's the main question, right, of a lot of people. Is it, I need to ask the people, are you feeling bearish? Because it's always a 50-50 almost, guys. And, then we go through the meat and potatoes, guys. Don't worry. We'll go through the action points on the lower time frame. But it's just interesting to ask the community, what do you think, right? Are you feeling bullish for the next couple of weeks, right? Are you feeling bullish for the coming weeks on Bitcoin, right? Eventually that would mean that you are looking for some kind of breakout with a retracement or not. Okay, so basically this poll is with a retracement looking for a movement up, or even from this area looking for a movement up, right? That would be the coming weeks, give or take 1-2 weeks. Or you really think, we're not bullish, we're going to come back down to the lows, right? That is literally that is the question of this poll. And I want to know your sentiment, right? Do you think we are ready for a higher low in this region, right? Are we ready for a higher low, be it this one or be another pullback and then breakout? Or you think that we're going to come back down to the lows, right? The downtrend is what we have for the moment, for the last few months. And this is just the highs, right, of the lower high trend, and it's ready to roll over, right? It's kind of a crucial point right now and it's very interesting when you take a look at the psychology point of view of this, because when we do take a look at the S&P 500, we have had an epic collapse, not only through the stock market in the US, right? This was in the last few weeks, right? The last week of March and the first week of April. We've had a pretty significant move down, bringing a lot of fear, right, in the world. Usually these could bring a bottom formation, right, and a big dead cat bounce. Well, V-shaped recovery, right? A big V-shaped recovery in the next coming weeks, right? The fear is there, the fear is real, and that is usually when you want to, right, be kind of ready for a reversal, right? Extreme fear on the fear and greed index, not only in crypto. I think crypto is relatively neutral in fear at the moment for some reason. We got it right over here. I'm looking at the fear and greed index. Yeah, it's just that fear right now. General markets, there is extreme fear. We've had the major collapse. We've moved down on the S&P 500. Bitcoin is at the last lower high zone on the higher time frames. They are some bullish counts. We are looking at all of this on the higher time frame to really get a nice reversal at some point, whether it's going to be a fake pump and an exit liquidity and then roll back down, or it's going to manage to hit all-time high, right? That is the overall question right now. I know that a reversal is, looks imminent for the price of Bitcoin, right? Taking out the lows or not, a reversal is imminent, right? So on the macro side, you know, I'm actually bullish. I am looking for a move up to 95, maybe even $100,000, and then we'll see how the price moves up to that level. But a reversal here with the current downtrend in the last few months. We've had the major stock market crash, right? The question is, will we go to much lower levels before the reversal? Or is it going to happen already in the coming weeks? So let's take a look here at the poll and see the votes. Okay, not many votes. Ooh, not many votes. People don't want to vote. People want to watch the TA. Are you feeling bullish for the coming weeks on Bitcoin? Yes, 62%. We have a lot of people bullish. Yeah, the reversal does look pretty interesting. And when we do go through the lower time frame, there is a possibility that the low is in here, at least locally. There is a possibility that the low is in. Most importantly is understanding the local price action to the upside from the last few weeks. And of course, there's several options. There is several options. One of the options is the ascending contracting move. You know, there's no other way in reading this. For the bullish case, I mean. For the bullish case, you do have that ascending move, contracting move to the upside, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 a little bit long, a little bit extended. Then you have this situation, which could be your flat. Problem is with this flat is, you know, you retrace to the 236 Fibonacci. It is a relatively shallow pullback. To be honest, it is a shallow pullback from a major move up for the price to really break out successfully here. So if we were to move to the upside, you know, am I confident that we are going to get a, you know, to $90,000, $95,000, right? Will we get a big breakout here to the upside? Or will we, you know, claim that liquidity and get a nice large move to the downside? Right, you know, there is some analysis that does point out that that could be, you know, a possibility. And when we do analyze this structure, it's either the ascending contracting move and you form a flat here, and then the price gains massive momentum to form a new fresh wave, which could be a C wave, it could be a third wave. Right? Could it be a third wave based on a multiple 1-2 where you formed 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, right, in a flat, right? Your third 1-2 and this one a flat, and now you're just going to explode in a third wave here. It is possible. It is possible. However, you know, when you usually see the development of multiple 1-2s, you do not want to see your second, third 1-2 being extremely larger than your first 1-2, right? Or your second 1-2. Your third 1-2 is extremely long. So the probabilities decrease here on a multiple 1-2 setup. This is your third 1-2 in a flat, and now the price is just going to shoot up here. So the probabilities do decrease for a big explosive breakout above 86K going to 90K and, you know, even higher levels. The main reason why, I'm not saying that we cannot test the 86,500 high. However, this is going to be very interesting if we do get up there, because this might have, you know, maybe this is not the end of the correction, the possible correction, okay? So we really need to analyze very carefully the internal move here to the upside if we do get it. Because as mentioned, the probability for a multiple 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 is, you know, quite low, just because your third 1-2 compared to the extension on the price action and the timing is massive against your second 1-2 and your first 1-2, right? So when we do take a look at the other possibilities, right? The other possibilities of taking out the high, we need to start thinking, okay, there is that possibility of this being your first wave, as mentioned, with a contracting move, right? You know, you just have to give it a chance. You need to give it a chance, even though it's not too beautiful, because of the retracement that you had here at the 236. Like I mentioned, you know, this is not common to see when you have a retracement coming all the way down, you know, just to the 236 Fibonacci. This is a very shallow retracement for a big wave up. It's a very, very shallow retracement, right? From a wave, if you're counting this as your wave 1, and this is your wave 2, 236 Fibonacci is very shallow, which is also decreasing the probabilities here that you do get an explosive move in a wave 3. You know, that's one of the main reasons, right? A very, very shallow pullback at the 236. You know, preferably at least the 382, and then you're like, okay, this is good pullback to then start rallying very strongly in the coming weeks. So that is something disturbing when you take a look at the probabilities, right? It's always nice to consider the higher time frame. We love the lower time frame, guys. We really focus on the lower time frame to look for some internal setups, right? But higher time frame, you need to look at the possibilities, right? The different possibilities are, you know, is it possible that you know, is it highly likely that we do smash out through, you know, $90,000 and even $95,000? Or if we do break up to the upside, what other options do we have for the price to really find resistance and get a leg down, right? Because if you're reading this price action, if you get a movement up here to the highs with whatever price action, whoever's extremely bullish, right? Because, you know, most of the people either are extremely bullish or they're extremely bearish, right? You know, I look at the internal movements, right? I'm like, you know, I don't like this movement up. I prefer this one. You know, I can flip bullish or bearish very quickly depending on the internal price action. So it really depends on the levels that are broken and how the movements develop on the lower time frames. So, you know, that's very, very important. Someone that is analyzing the macro, you might think this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a flat. We are consolidating in a bullish flag or whatever, right? And we are going to smash through the highs. Then you need to think, is that, you know, is that highly likely? You know, with the current market situation as well, how the price action has moved up here. You know, is this highly likely that we really smash through 90K? Thinking, you know, with common sense, you know, do you think that's going to happen? Based on the analysis, of course, you have the macro, right? Well, the thing about the macro events that have happened, you know, what is disturbing for me, the crash has happened, right? And this is like kind of bullish. I'm sorry, I have to say that, but this is kind of bullish. For me, it's like, you know, we've got the crash. We got the extreme fear already, guys. It's kind of time for a, you know, we did have a significant relief rally, okay? But the question is, you know, if we do drop down from the lows here very successfully, then eventually you know, it's recession, right? It is depression kind of, you know, market crash. When we got this kind of crash already, down 20% on the S&P 500 in just a matter of a few weeks, you know, it's telling me the fear is in already. So a reversal is very much a possibility. So when I do think about the possible breakout here on the price of Bitcoin, as mentioned, low probability. The possibility is there, but when I take a look at the charts, I can say for the moment, it is low probability that from this range, we successfully break out from $86,000-$87,000. Could we hit 87 or 88? Yeah, absolutely. But it's, for me, unlikely that we do get a big explosive breakout, okay? Get a big move is unlikely, in my opinion. Can we revisit the highs? And depending on the levels that we have on the chart, is there something else to consider based on, you know, a possible reversal from here, right? Not a successful breakout, a liquidity grab, because there is hundreds of millions of short liquidations sitting above $86,000, right? 86,500. There is a lot of liquidity up there. So it would make sense to claim that liquidity at some point, right? Would make sense for the price to, you know, there's lots of people bearish. There's lots of people, you know, interested in shorts. There's lots of people, you know, there's a lot of liquidity, right? You cannot lie about this. It is there on the chart. So the question is, will we successfully break above the highs? And what other scenario do we have? Looking at other scenarios, when we do consider this movement, right? The bullish case, we already talked about it. The fact that we moved up here in a 5-wave structure, we got this flat. The problem with this flat is retracing to the 236 Fibonacci from the movement up. I mean, this usually happens when the market is very bullish and maybe is ready for a reversal. So you kind of need to give it a chance, right? Maybe the people are, you know, really expecting a larger retracement, or, you know, not seeing the price action being bullish. And shallow retracements to the 236 Fibonacci usually happen in very strong bullish market conditions, or when the price is just ready for a big fat reversal, right? A big fat reversal out of nowhere, and the price just, you know, gets a major pump to the upside. So looking at the technicals, it is rare to retrace to the 236 Fibonacci and get a successful breakout, an explosive breakout. Okay, so coming up to sweep up the liquidity from the highs needs to, you know, we need to question this movement to the upside. All right, we need a question, and how can we get up there? How can we move here to the upside? When we do take a look at the complex possible corrective moves, if this is not a wave 1 in a 5-wave structure and you have a flat, what else could be developed here in this region? Well, you do have a 3-wave structure right over here. You have your correction that could be your X wave. And all of this does look very one wavy, I have to say. I prefer seeing this as a all of one wave, because you do, and you also have a very nice 5-wave count in this movement, right? And then you have this movement right over here, your WXY that we were talking about here, looking for that internal long position right there to claim the highs, which was provided on Monday. Anybody that missed out on that stream, just for education purposes, as we were building up the different movements that could happen here, you want to check out that Monday stream, because you know, that was a projection that we analyzed internally as we claimed this high. Claiming this high meant that we're very likely going to claim this low and then get a movement up here. Anybody that did not watch Monday's stream, check out, it was the last 30 minutes of the stream as we were claiming that high that we were looking for this scenario. And just like yesterday, anybody that missed out yesterday's stream based on this scenario, you know, make sure to check it out, right? We're looking at different possibilities. One of them being this one, which was the favorite scenario based on this movement down being impulsive, right? It did look impulsive. And then you look for the ABC movement, right? Very nice. Anybody that didn't check out yesterday's stream, right? Throughout the end of the stream, we were looking at the different possibilities as we were breaking out from here. We'll get to the lower time frames now, guys. Bear with me. Lots of people do know that are legit followers that the the meat and potatoes does come to the end of the stream, right? We get people to join, people to smash the like button, and people joining the stream, enjoying a little bit of a higher time frame point of view. And then we get very technical to see what is happening on the 5 minute, right? This is usually at the end of the stream where we really look for the possible movements that can happen in the next coming hours, right? To get ready for a setup, right? We create a plan and we wait for that plan, right? We wait for it. And if you wait for this, then, this is a movement that happened. So, that's what we're going to be doing now in the next coming minutes, okay? Bear with me here, guys, but we're just building up the possibilities here of the movement. So on the higher time frame, slightly higher, 15 minute is higher time frame for me. 1 hour time frame is high time frame. I'm just interested on the local low and the high of this month, right? Regardless if the low is in or not, I don't care. I'm interested on how the price is developing here to really come to the conclusion on what is, the highest probability move, right? To come next in the coming hours, today, tomorrow. So getting the 2 bullish case scenarios out of the way, which is, the ascending contracting move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C flat. We retraced very shallow, that decreases the chance of getting an explosive breakout here in the next coming days, right? To head up to 90K plus. It decreases the probability of a successful breakout. The multiple 1-2 scenario is also decreased massively because your third 1-2 is extremely long in price action, right? And timing compared to your first wave 1 and 2, that, doesn't make sense. You're probably looking at something else. So you need to not give the probabilities to this. And when you do take a look at, other options, what if we do take out the highs, right? What would this be if we take out the highs and then we start moving down? What did we develop, right? If it was not the, ascending contracting move and we formed a flat and we claimed the highs and then moved down, what pattern was it, right? What did we develop here on the waves? Because, a lot of people might be very, very confused. If you sweep up the highs and you then reject down to the lows, what would this be? And how can we get up there? That's what we're going to build up as well, right? Later on the stream, there's many things here that we want to go through. That is eventually a WXYXZ, triple zigzag in this case, which is usually rare patterns that do happen, but they could happen. They're just very rare. And if you have something else on the chart, you want to consider also other scenarios. So literally this pattern, this triple zigzag, is basically having a zigzag in W, a zigzag in Y, and a zigzag in Z, right? You have your zigzag right over here, your correction in X. You have another zigzag right over here, just claiming the highs. Don't like this one too much because this one is very, very shallow. You have your correction in X, which this is something I cannot see. Could it be here? Then we are really extending, right? Could we just finish this kind of zigzag, claim 83, and then get this movement to then roll down? The problem about this is, your Y is, not massively longer than your wave W. It is possible. This is why, sweeping up the lows, we could consider still that there is a lot of support there. And depending on how we come down, looking at the local structure, it might be an option. It might be an option that we sweep up the lows, we get people very fearful and bearish, and then we get the movement up to sweep up the highs. So could we develop a WXYXZ? These are uncommon movements, but you need to give them the possibility, right? They're very, very complex, very difficult to to really come to that conclusion, right? That this is going to happen, as they are rare. It's something that you don't see very often. So, of course, you have, as mentioned, the zigzag here, the X, your zigzag right over here. And now, you know, this should be some kind of a corrective move. I have a problem to label this as your X. And now that you're forming your Z wave, I have a problem. Why is it a problem to map this low as your X wave? Preferably, if we were to move up from here, I would say, wow, you know, this could get pretty crazy. I would rather see this as an ABC flat. Label this as a C wave from a flat. Why? Because this movement down has been pretty impulsive, as it's been, you know, a pretty major move down, right? So preferably, if this scenario is going to happen, you would want to see one more low. You would want to see one more low here. And the main reason why is because this movement down has been very aggressive, very impulsive. And an X wave is a corrective wave, right? It's a three wave, it's a double zigzag, it's some kind of three wave structure. It's some kind of a corrective structure, not an impulse. So, you know, for this scenario to be the low, it's kind of not possible, right? It's kind of not possible to label this as an X wave. So, you know, this would definitely be a problem without a doubt. You would have to really come to the conclusion that if you are going to move up here and then reject very aggressively, you would have to put this X wave right over here, just to have some kind of three wave structure. And this, to be an ABC without claiming the low, is just extremely unlikely. It's extremely unlikely that you do get a zigzag that doesn't claim the A wave, right? So it's like, yeah, you know, the probabilities, you know, decrease as you're building up here. You know, this possibility right over here, you know, it does decrease when you do realize that this low is a pretty impulsive move. So if you are going to consider this scenario, you need to put your X wave here. But this zigzag did not take out the low, right? This movement did not take out the low. So it's like, you know, preferably we do come down from this area, okay, and we sweep up the lows, and then we have a proper zigzag. We do have a proper three wave structure right here as well. You do have a nice three wave move. You want to see a three wave move, not a one wave move that's very impulsive, as we were analyzing yesterday on the lower time frame, right? This does look very, very impulsive to the downside. We're looking for that bounce and then a movement down. This movement down did not claim the low just yet. So most importantly, with all of this confusion, right, and all these different options on the higher time frame, it's like, let's go to the 5-minute time frame and try and figure out what could be next today. What are the most important levels, and how could we develop the waves in the next coming hours in this area, right? Try and analyze what the heck is going on in this zone to look for the most important levels of resistance, sign of weakness, sign of strength, levels of invalidation for the bullish case or the bearish case, and come to the conclusion internally on the lower time frames to try and figure out what the heck is going to happen, right, in this area from the highs to the lows. Okay, so yeah, let's go right away. We're getting a little bit of a bouncy action here. We're gonna be What is very interesting is a lower high resistance trend. Lower high resistance trend that has been tested today, and it looks like we want to test it right now. Maybe some breakout traders are going to be excited here based on a possible break of a lower high resistance. What do you think, guys? If we do break out from this resistance trend line, lower high resistance trend line, we are going to be heading to much higher levels, at least to test the highs of yesterday. What do you think, right? Sometimes we want to put some simple things on the chart, guys. Okay, right? Don't go too wavy and too complex with the explanation. Was waiting for the fourth wave consolidation. Get your fifth wave to double top from the top of your third wave. Round about the golden pocket, naked point of control. That's where you want to see the reaction area. Possibly break out above 85.2, 85.3, and ultimately look at that for the pullback down, right? Which was this right over here. Now we're going to go through the lower time frames. We're going to build it up, guys. So I need that like button to get destroyed, and we need to come to the conclusion on what could be happening here. What could be happening? Take a look at CVD. Take a look at Delta. Take a look at here. Is there, any bearish CVD divergence, bullish CVD divergence internally with a local movement to the upside? And what are the different probabilities? Okay. We'll be going through the 5 minute, guys. We're going to build it up just like yesterday. This is local building up different movements that could happen. Okay. There's this is pure action from now's price action, right? This is pure action on developing what happened in the last few hours and what could happen in the next few hours, just like we do here every single day, right? This is projection as the price action is developing. So we're building it up here. There's nothing ready. There's nothing, no one I can rely on. This is me purely looking at what are the local movements that could happen, right? So, I hope you do, you do see the value. You are excited. You learn about the situation of the waves and the different levels of confluence for all of those people that are relatively new or have a little bit of experience and do enjoy and see how the charts move, right? Really. Let's go through the comment section before we go, because I have to say I don't take a look at the comment section as we're building up here the lower time frame, and I'm like really focused on the chart, and I don't read the comment section, and I feel very, very bad because maybe some people are asking questions, maybe some people are want me to take a look at some altcoins. And I feel bad sometimes, guys. I know some people are watching and are commenting and are asking questions, and sometimes I'm so focused on the chart and I'm like, wow, it's been 30 minutes and I haven't, said hello to the beautiful community, said hello to the people. Hope you're doing well, you're healthy, and you're happy, and you enjoy all of this, okay? Or, you enjoy my time. I enjoy your time here. I enjoy the people smashing up the like button. That, really makes me happy. Because I do see that people want to listen, people want to see how, sometimes the projections and the predictions, do come to play. There has to be some sense, right? Something has to be right on the analysis. It's not just randomly going through. We are oversold on the RSI, and the 21 moving average, hasn't been tapped yet, right? And all of this, it's like, hey, come on. We really go through the most complex way on lower time frames to really try and project the next movements, right? Which is, very, very difficult, right? And it needs a lot of, brain power to develop. And, I hope you do see the value of that, right? Because we also have, sometimes the scenarios don't happen, guys, but we know when to remain patient. We know when to wait for what needs to be developed, right? When we had this wave to the upside on the other stream, this moved up in a 5 wave to the upside. And an option was, if we move sideways here without collapsing like we did, we need to remain patient to see how we develop this area. Because if it does go sideways and we do maintain, pretty good support We do have bullish CVD divergence. It could be an option that we do form a higher low, but we need the price to slowly form this three-wave structure. Give it a bit of time, because the timing of this impulse needs time for the correction, right? And if we just, you know, suddenly drop from here very aggressively, which we did, it's like, you know, just let it go. Let the price action do what it needs to do, right? If it turns out to be impulsive. Okay. And yeah, I just want to know if you do see the value of this, because there is something right about the analysis, right? When we do take a look at all of the different options. Let's go through comment section. Okay, my man, Umbrella still alive? Umbrella still alive? That is a very good question. UMB, let's take a look. Yeah, I'm still got this in the portfolio. Like I said, I did invest quite a bit in this. It was around about 1% of my entire portfolio, you know, did have a chunk, and this is down like 60 odd %, right? So I am very down on this one, guys, and just holding. Eventually I'm not going to sell right now. Is it still alive? The project is alive. The team are alive. You know, the roadmap is alive. You're just going to have to give it some time, right? But this is like OM, right? If you did invest in OM, then your question here is, you know, this looks like a rug pull, right? Basically. This one, you know, compared to Umbrella, eventually, this one had an epic bull run, and Umbrella hasn't had the recovery. You know, this is a very low cap crypto project. You know, this is just a matter of bottoming out at some stage and seeing the recovery to happen at some point, right? But the project is alive. You know, the team is alive, and they do have the roadmap. They are busy. You know, it's like this is like this is like Chainlink. It is an Oracle solution, but as you know, 99% of crypto is down brutally, right? Down brutally since the pump that we had in November, December, right? Most are at bear market lows, except for some high cap coins. So, you know, you always know that the low cap coins have extreme risk. This is why they need to be a very small amount of your portfolio. If it does a 20, 30, 50x, then you know that you're making really good gains. But if you do go all in, then it's like you're gonna have a very bad time. You know, the amount of people that lost money getting in late to one of the most important real world asset coins, you know, which is OM, which is Mantra. Some people got in late. Some people did FOMO into this project, and you would say that they got wrecked, right? They lost their money until it recovers in the next coming years, right? So be it, whenever that's going to be. You know, I would say that this project is could recover, but you know, a lot of people, obviously, when you see this kind of a price action, you would expect it's a kind of a rug pull, right? And it does, you know, the trust goes down. Anyway, we're not here to really talk about the altcoins, but I do feel it's my job as well to, not my job, but you know, I need to, you know, read the comment section. Smash the like, says God. Thank you very much, my man. Exactly, Andy. Thanks, because I'm new and already grasp some stuff on Bitcoin charts and quills. Thank you very much, my man. Nicolas Baron. Giacomino, charts apart. I think we will follow in the same step as gold due to the currency crashes. Giacomino, that is a very good state from you. Very, very good state. Very, very good state. Gold is going through the roof, guys. Through the roof. It's absolutely insane. I bought some gold, a few gold bars in 2019, just round about 1,400, 1,500, a little bit, you know, somewhere in this region as we were climbing up on the chart. Somewhere in this zone is where I bought gold, and physical gold. And my goodness, this has gone through the roof. This is absolutely insane. You know, this is a bit too parabolic. But yeah, you know, some people are saying, you know, we are expecting this for Bitcoin on the higher time frame. We are expecting the price of Bitcoin to, you know, you do see the different cup and handles that we have formed on the chart. And we're going to do a bit of a higher time frame, guys. Why not? Okay. Somebody said that we are going to follow, right? We are going to follow gold, for example, right? As currencies crash, and Bitcoin is the digital gold, right? As they say. I mean, it is. It has proven itself to be the, you know, one of the most secure networks, right? And proven currency is decentralized, peer-to-peer. And that is very attractive for the investor, right? When we do take a look at the cup and handle that we developed in the last few years on gold, you can see that cup and handle pattern, right? Clear cup and handle pattern that is just gone absolutely parabolic, right? It's just gone through the roof. And sometimes I need a breather on the lower time frames, guys. It's fun to analyze higher time frames and look at different higher time frames for things. Okay, we really try to focus on lower time frame Bitcoin analysis, right? But let's keep it chilled for the moment, then we'll go through lower time frame scenarios. Okay, but this cup and handle on gold, right? Anybody that's not aware of a cup and handle, it's literally just a large consolidation at all-time high where you revisit the highs, right? You consolidate, the buying pressure is just too powerful, and you break a major resistance and you go to price discovery and you project to much higher levels, right? This cup and handle played out throughout the last year, right? Year and a half, breaking out here. That handle was just reaccumulation, bang, movement to the upside. This happened to the stock market as well. I mean, this is looking almost at the last 10 years of price action on the weekly chart. Well gone through its projected move, right? Well gone above the projection. The uncertainty is real, guys. Currencies are crashing. Inflation could be happening very fast in the coming months. As you know, with all of the tariffs, you know, we might be getting also the interest rates going down, which we are not in the next meeting, right, on the Federal Reserve meeting to get interest rate cuts. It's not, apparently it's not going to happen. Apparently the probabilities of rate cuts is not going to happen in May, so the 7th, maybe the next one. Let's see. For the moment, you know, holding strong there with cutting, with interest rate cuts. So yeah, no major signs of big inflation yet, at least in the US. When we do take a look at the S&P 500, we did form a little bit of a dodgy cup and handle as well here, right? Why is it dodgy? Just because it has a little bit of a lower high. But you can see after a major rally, a big correction in 2022, and then you have, you know, that cup and handle formation as well, getting the breakout. Bitcoin, right? And this has gone well over the target levels, right? When you take a look at the projection, right, of the reaccumulation round formation, this has gone well above the projected target. Bitcoin is lagging behind, right? When you do take a look at Bitcoin's cup and handle, we did not even test the highs, right? We did not even test the highs, right, of the projection, right? When we do take a look at the cup right there, projected move, you know, you would expect eventually much higher levels, at least get to the target zone. This is $130,000. Nice bear market, 2022, 2023 recovery, 2024, you got your classic handle right over here, and the big explosive breakout from the resistance. We kind of topped out here with a major pullback, not going to higher levels, right? What, you know, this is telling me that a bull run is not finished, and bull run very possibly is extended. And instead of looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like many I think are looking at, right? If you consider the Elliott wave, you know, 5-wave move to the upside in a bull run, well, you would say this is finished, And what we are looking for here after a 5-wave impulse is already a bear market correction, right? Where you're looking for your A, B, C, you know, possibly get down to 50K, right? And then maybe recover throughout, you know, 2026, 2027. Or on the other side, you are looking for an expanding 5th wave. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is still part of your 5th wave where you just formed your first wave 1 and 2. You're going to form 3, 4, and 5. It's an expanding 5th wave. Very possible. That's when something is very, very bullish. Considering the cup and handle, you know, why not, you know, go to $150,000 in the next coming months? Why not? What is stopping Bitcoin, as it is the new era digital gold, right? You know, for sure, you know, I'll never sell all of my Bitcoin. You never know what could be around the corner. And, you know, why not, you know, Bitcoin could be the new gold, right? For the moment, it is not. Eventually, gold is taking over. But why can't this happen to Bitcoin, right? Maybe not as parabolic, but overall looking for a large move up at some point in the coming months. You know, it's just, you need to consider that the bull run is not over as long as you are still in the uptrend, on the macro uptrend, right? You're still in the macro uptrend. You could project that this could have been the top. This is why it's important to take profits. I sold a few Bitcoin at 90K and 100K. You just have to. If you've been accumulating for the last few years and you understand bull markets, you need to take some profits, right? It's worthless buying something because you know, if you buy something and you never take profits, you're always going to be riding the bear markets. You're always going to be riding the bear markets. So you always need to understand when it's time to take profit. The ultimate massive bullish case scenario, either being a multiple 1-2 setup. I mean, that would be the most bullish one, which you know, I don't think is going to be the case. You know, I think possibly an extensive 5th wave is there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're just in your first wave of the 5th wave. So you got your 3 and 4 and 5 still to develop. Maybe going to 150, maybe to 200, right? Very, very wishful thinking, but with the current market situation, you never know how people can react with possible currency crashes, right? What if we start seeing massive interest rate cuts, the stock market continues to collapse, and there's going to have to be an emergency situation where they will be forced to cut rates very, very fast. You know, 0.5, even 100 basis points, very, very fast, and start the money printing activity, right? Which eventually would bring trillions of dollars. People are going to really panic with that situation, and they would want to buy gold, maybe other assets. You know, maybe lots of other assets are going to go down. So maybe people will see Bitcoin as the safe haven, and we do get that extended bull run, that extended 5th wave in this case. You never know. It's obviously a lot of speculation, but the bull run is still intact, right? Until you lose basically the $50,000. But this is kind of too late already, right? Oh, we're in bear market. We've lost the lows. We've lost the uptrend for a possible multiple 1-2 or an extended 5th wave. It's bear market. So are you going to sell here? No. You're going to have to start thinking to buy, right? It's a confirmed bear market at this level. But that's like, okay, well, I missed taking profits here, so I'll just have to buy up again. You don't sell when you have a confirmation bear market. You're just going to have to say, well, in the next bull run, I will just have to be a little bit more aggressive taking profits once we break all-time high, right? And analyze the pushes to the upside. So it's pretty interesting how when you see, you know, I took profits here, right? And the simple reason is it's a possible 5th wave. you know, you got a lot of hype, you know, it's just to stay on the safe side. I didn't sell everything. I don't know, maybe this is not the top, but you need to take profits. You need to take profits on what you bought, understanding that we've had a bull run. We got all the hype with the new president. I got my friends calling me on what crypto should I buy, and I'm like, you know, I'm going to sell a bit of Bitcoin because I don't like this. And then you got the people that, you know, it's pretty funny on the technical analysis side. We are not in bear market until we lose the last higher low, right? Until we lose the fourth wave, until we have this, right? Oh, that's bear market. Well, does that mean that you need to sell here? No, it's, you know, you missed out. You know, the people, it happens to everybody, guys. It even happens to me. You know, I should have taken more profits if we enter a bear market. I should have taken more profits here in 2021. I sold 25% of my portfolio here. I should have sold 50%. I should have sold 75%. I don't know if the top is going to be in. So I just realized the price action doesn't look too great, and I need to take some profits. So yeah, what is interesting is, you know, some very, very bullish, you know, we're not in bear market till we actually come down here, right? Which is literally breaking the structure. But this is not where you need to sell. This is where you need to understand that, okay, it's bear market, you know, let's DCA again and then take profit back at the highs, you know. But it's interesting how the psychology works, you know. Oh my goodness, bear market, you know, and people do panic sell. People do panic sell. Well, this would be the moment eventually to start thinking of rebuying again very aggressively, because you're in the bear market already. Anyway, not sure if that was needed, guys. Just a little bit of overview, point of view. Only as normal people are poor. My man Rahan. Yeah, what is poor? What is rich? Right? You know, that is a question that I do have many days. You know, being already, you know, almost, you know, kind of financially free. You know, what is your happiness, right? What is rich? What is poor? You know, as long as you're breathing, you have family and friends, and you enjoy what you do, you know, you are very rich. You are very rich, okay? You know, material stuff, you know, the more that I have, the more I realize I just want to dump it. I just want to get rid of it. You know, I do have a few watches, and I'm thinking, like, you know, it's like an investment at the end of the day as well. You know you can sell it maybe at lower prices or higher prices, but yeah, you realize with time, more you have, the less you want. Let's go. Anup, the ECB just now cut rates. I guess BTC to pump. Oh, the ECB just now, that's European Central Bank, if I'm not mistaken. Bitcoin to pump with that news. Yeah, we need to go through the lower timeframes on Bitcoin Legends. Okay, sorry about that. We need to go and focus through the lower timeframes and really analyze this movement here. Okay, I need to analyze this movement to the upside, which is extremely disturbing pullback. And if you are considering from this low to this high that you are forming some kind of impulsive move development, you need to, keeping it simple, map this as your wave 1 or your wave A. Is that possible? You know, is it possible, right? When we analyze this movement to the downside. Let me just quickly go through. Yeah, I'm going to focus now on the charts, guys. I don't have friends, no money, and I don't enjoy what I'm doing. Come on. I mean, I would assume that this is a joke, but anyway, sorry about, the only positive is I got some gains on the bull run. I know, sorry about the laugh here, but I assume that it's a kind of a joke, okay? I'm not sure if this is serious or not, but anyway, much love to you, my man. You know, I will be happy to, you know, read your comment and ask how you're feeling, right? And if, you know, make sure to try and do stuff that you enjoy, right? I would assume that this is a joke. This is why I had a little giggle there. But anyway, just smash this cycle. Better 𝗬𝗍, just smash this cycle. 𝗬𝗍 says, no money, no friends, and I don't enjoy what I'm doing, my man. Andy, can you pull up the 𝗬𝗍𝗃 website and look at the pattern partners and look at their partners? 5-minute thing could potentially be massive. Woof. Yeah, I'm really going to focus on the Bitcoin chart on the lower time frames. That's why most of the people are here. But we didn't get the euphoria as much as there was in 2021. That is totally true, J-Jack. We did not get that euphoric moment, but I think most of the people are broke. It's been a bit of an institution kind of rally, right? Because when you take a look at Google Trends, and this is, you know, this is like the best to look at, right? Google Trends in the last 5 years. In the previous bull run, we did have a little bit of more hype. Throughout 2024, as we were getting the ETF approval, we did have a few spikes. Google Trends on Bitcoin search or crypto search, yeah, 2021 was a little bit more explosive, right? End of 2020 and beginning of 2021. We didn't see that kind of euphoria in this cycle, but I think people are just fed up. The people that came in the previous cycle lost a bunch of money. They don't trust Bitcoin or crypto or anything, and they just fed up, right? We've really, you know, violated the crypto space with all of these meme coins and all of this rubbish and all of these rug pulls, right? And even the solid good projects, OM, supposedly one of the best real world asset projects. You see the chart and it's a complete rug. People are tired. People are tired. There's no euphoria to be here when people understand that this space is extremely risky to invest. It's extreme is the wild, wild west, right? If you get in and depending on what you buy, you need to realize that you can lose everything. You can make gains depending on where you enter. But if you enter at a wrong moment, this is why I always say never get into a pump. Some cryptos that that I invested and I talked about on the channel were mainly in September, October of 2024. Some in November. As soon as we were getting the pump, I stopped talking about altcoins. Was talking about target levels. A few cryptos did hit the first target level. Few of them rolled back down to the lows and even below the lows. And some of those altcoins are in a loss right now. I am in a lot, in some of them I am in a loss, unrealized loss. And you feel guilty, right? It's like, oof, I was talking about this on the channel. But I'm happy to say that we were defensive on many of them. And I was very clear on taking some out. And it was only a 4 or 5x on many, right? The best one that I made gains on this cycle, guys, you need to be quick. You need to be aggressive. Don't be greedy. And, leave a moon bag, but take your money and take some profits from different investments. Fowler Network was one of them, realizing if you pump and dump like this and you consolidate at a base, it could be a good opportunity, guys. It could be a very good opportunity. I like the team. I like the project. This could really, be a reaccumulation zone. And the first target was taking out this high. Get out as you break up this high. 50% profits. And obviously this was over a 4x. So, I'm making some gains on this. And then leave a moon bag. And when you say leave a moon bag, holy moly, this is actually down, 20% from my current price range that I was buying. So, yeah. And I remember saying, some people saying in the comment section, a 5x is nothing in crypto. A 4-5x is nothing in crypto. And I'm like, you know, if you have that money and you are in profits, I know we want more. Make sure to take your initial investment out and some profits. You know, if you do sell at a 4x more than 50%, you are going to make profits. And leave a moon bag. Just, you know, if we do get that 10x and we go higher, golden, you're right. Let's take some profits. But the risk, right, that there is on dumping back down, and all of the, you know, most of the crypto did this, right? Not only the projects that I did take a look at. PRQ was another one. And then we had, you know, the first target zone. Get out, guys. As soon as we hit these highs, you want to take some profits. We do not know if we're going to break successfully or not. And it came back down to entry area. When we do take a look at, you know, a lot of them, I missed out on taking profits. You know, I was doing a 3-4x, you know, Cadena was one of them. And I was really pissed off on this one because, you know, I think I did put around about $20,000 on Cadena, round about the 60-70 cent level. You know, I entered just at the this was one of the latest ones. And, you know, this was already at above a 3x. So, you know, I was having over $50,000 profit on this one. And the strategy was to take out this high, just like the other ones, right? You know, we can test this high. I'm very sure that we can at least test it. And we missed out on Cadena by a few cents. And I saw all of the profits ride all the way down to entry zone. So, you know what, it is what it is. But most importantly, what is most important, because you are going to see a lot of channels that just talk about buy this, you're late. 2025 is going to be epic. The bull run will be epic. This right now on Cadena becomes interesting to start thinking to buy again. I never said, guys, this green box, this was your last chance to get in here, and it's at a loss right now. But you realize the potential reversal, right? Umbrella did not play out good, guys, I have to say. But Umbrella this is a low cap coin, guys. You know, this could really disappear from the first face of the earth. We don't want to put too much on this. You know, I actually put more on Cadena than on Umbrella. I never said to anybody, get into this project here. This is going to moon. We're in a bull cycle. Come on, altcoin season, guys. Wake up. No, this is where you are interested in buying. This is where we are interested in buying. And, you know, this is something that I always support on the channel. Looking at the chart, the fear looks like, you know, fear is serious. When we see Cadena, this is starting to be an interesting zone to consider buying for a 2x or a 3x or whatever for the next coming months, some kind of a recovery to happen, right? I like it. You're revisiting the lows, but you're not breaking down after a pump and dump. This is where it becomes interesting to DCA. When you pump and dump and you range. You pump and dump and you're ranging for several months here. This will reverse. Very, very powerful or not, it will reverse, whether it's going to continue going up or it will be a pump and dump back to the lows. You know, this is where you would be interested in buying, right? But there's so many projects that, so, you know, will Cadena be here in 5 months? I do not know. Maybe it's gonna rug, just like OM, right? I think most people, this was a 7 billion market cap crypto, 6-7 billion. You don't know if this is gonna happen, never, on anything. So obviously the tokenomics, if they're a little bit dodgy, then yeah, you would want to be careful when you do realize that the team does hold a lot of the tokens. And this is the problem with Chainlink as well. and I'm heavily invested in Chainlink. I am aware of the danger of this, but I do give a little bit of faith on Chainlink. But that's my problem. That's the Chainlink as well. The tokenomics are not that great. That's a risk I am willing to take. Anyway, let's go through our legends. I need to. My goodness, it's already 4:40. I need to take my dogs to the vet, guys. They need some vaccinations because I'm going to travel in the summer, and I need to get my dogs sorted out. But anyway, yeah, we just today was a little bit of a Q&A. I will look to do a live stream later on to really focus on the price of Bitcoin on the lower time frames. Time has gone by very, very fast. Andy, analyze the chart of the Google trend. Do it, please. You are a master. Thank you very much, my man, Murad. If BTC breaks below 83K, 78K first strong demand zone. Yes, very possible. CBM, my man, legend, how are you? Guys, make sure to go and check out CBM, 𝗕𝗶𝘆𝗽𝗫. He is an absolute legend, providing daily analysis and good fundamental news. Absolute legend, guys. If you don't know who he is, make sure to go and check him out. He's here in the comment section. 𝗕𝗶𝘆𝗽𝗫. Take care of your dog, bro. See you next time. Jerome, my man, much love to you. 69 happened. It was 74K. Whole world buying goes up, it goes down, and then even lower. Yes, that's the thing. Now 70% pump. Absolute legend. Guys, remember, if you are interested in trading, okay, for those experienced traders, you do get an awesome bonus on weeks, okay? 20% deposit bonus, right? You deposit 1,000, you're getting 200. You deposit 10,000, you're getting 2,000. The only thing that you need to do is deposit, transfer to your futures account, and in 3 days, you're getting that deposit bonus. You also get 25% fee reduction with the second link down below, all right? 20% deposit and 25% fee reduction. You also need an email and a password just to sign up, guys. Take advantage of that. There's another way to support the channel. Claim those bonuses. I think you can trade anywhere in the world on weeks. And I think I will be going live later on, guys, to really analyze the local scenarios. But I need to rush. I got an appointment in 20 minutes for my dogs, and I need to rush. So I think I will have to do a live stream later on, guys. Sorry about that. We didn't focus on the lower time frames. I didn't watch the time. Much love to everybody. Make sure to destroy the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you later.